Imagine sitting across from someone, watching their face as they talk. They smile, their words flow smoothly, but something feels off. A flicker in their eye, a hesitation in their voice. Instinct tells you they're lying, but how do you know? What if I told you that with the right techniques, you could make anyone reveal their deepest secrets without them even realizing it? That a single sentence framed correctly could bypass the brain's defenses and extract hidden truths? This isn't magic. It's dark psychology. Dark psychology is the study of manipulation, persuasion, and influence, used by intelligence agencies, high-stakes negotiators, and even everyday con artists. It's how governments extract confessions, how cult leaders control minds, and how skilled social engineers bend reality to their will. But here's the real kicker. Whether you realize it or not, you're already playing this game. Every conversation, every interaction is a battlefield of perception. And if you don't know the rules, you're the one being played. In this video, we're diving deep into the world of dark psychology. We'll uncover the secret techniques used to spot deception, influence behavior, and subtly control outcomes. You'll learn how to read hidden signals in body language. You'll discover how words can be used to bypass mental defenses. And you'll see why the most dangerous manipulators never ask for information. They pull it from you effortlessly. Most people live their lives blind to these tactics, but once you see them, you can never unsee them. By the end of this video, you won't just understand dark psychology, you'll start noticing its influence everywhere. And more importantly, you'll know how to protect yourself from those who would use it against you. Stay with me. The game is about to begin. Dark psychology is not new. It has existed for as long as humans have sought power over one another. From the whispered intrigues of ancient courts to modern psychological warfare, the art of deception, influence, and control has shaped history in ways most people never realize. Long before intelligence agencies perfected psychological warfare, ancient civilizations already understood the power of the mind. Sun Tzu in The Art of War warned, "All warfare is based on deception." He taught that the best victories were won not with swords but with psychological tactics, breaking the enemy's will before a battle even began. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, studied the manipulation of perception, warning that our emotions and thoughts could be controlled by external forces if we weren't vigilant. Machiavelli, in The Prince, exposed the cold, calculated art of ruling through fear and deception. He believed people were driven by self-interest and could be controlled through illusion, rewards, and fear. These were not just theories. They were strategies used by emperors, military leaders, and spies to shape the fate of nations. Even religious texts are filled with psychological tactics, whether to protect believers from manipulation or to exert influence. In the Bible, the serpent in the Garden of Eden doesn't tell Eve what to do. It subtly questions her reality. Did God really say? That single doubt led to the fall of man. In Hindu mythology, Maya represents the illusion of reality, warning that what we see and believe is often not the full truth. The Islamic concept of waswas, whispers of shaitan, describes intrusive thoughts meant to lead people astray, essentially an early understanding of psychological suggestion. These ancient lessons remind us, the mind is the ultimate battlefield. Fast forward to today, and governments, corporations, and intelligence agencies have taken these ancient tactics to a new level. The CIA's MKULT project experimented with mind control techniques, using drugs, hypnosis, and psychological conditioning. Operation Mockingbird saw intelligence agencies infiltrating media organizations to control public perception. Edward Bernays, the father of public relations, manipulated mass psychology to shape consumer behavior, turning desires into needs through strategic advertising. Governments use these techniques in interrogation rooms. Businesses use them in marketing. Cult leaders use them to maintain power. The techniques of dark psychology are everywhere. You just don't notice them because they're designed to be invisible. For centuries, the elite have understood one thing. Power is perception. If you can control how people think, you control what they do. That's why these techniques have been passed down secretly among rulers, intelligence operatives, and psychological strategists. But now, in the digital age, the veil is lifting. Information once locked away in classified documents and underground psychological studies is now available to those who seek it. And that's why you're here. Understanding these techniques means you won't be easily manipulated. You'll recognize when someone is trying to steer your emotions control your reactions, or extract information from you without your awareness. This is the knowledge they don't want you to have. And now we're about to break it down, step by step. Understanding dark psychology isn't about paranoia, it's about awareness. The moment you recognize the tools of influence, you gain the ability to defend yourself. Let's break down how manipulation actually works. Most people think interrogation is about direct questions. It's not. Most skilled manipulators don't ask. They make statements that force the other person to correct or expand on them. Instead of asking, "Do you like your job?" say, "I heard your industry has been really rough lately." The brain hates misinformation. If the statement is wrong, the person instinctively corrects it, often revealing personal details. This is used by spies, journalists, and con artists to extract information effortlessly. Imagine you need to find out how much someone makes, but you can't ask directly. You say, "I read that people in your position just got a pay raise to $22 an hour. That's great." If they earn less, they'll immediately correct you. "What? No way. We only make $17.50. They just gave away private financial information without you even asking. The brain is wired to distinguish between friend and foe. If someone feels like a friend, we lower our defenses. Manipulators use this against you. Mirroring. Subtly copying your tone, words, and body language to create subconscious trust. Forced vulnerability. Sharing a fake personal story to make you feel obligated to open up in return. Manufactured familiarity. Acting like they've known you for years even if you just met. A skilled con artist won't act pushy. Instead, they'll start a casual conversation, reveal a small personal struggle. "Man, today has been rough." And wait, most people instinctively match that energy. "Yeah, I get it. Work has been killing me too." Boom, you just opened up and they now have an entry point to manipulate you. Manipulators use provocative statements to pull emotions out of you. This works because the brain has an irresistible urge to respond. Instead of asking, "Was that hard?" they say, "That must have been really difficult for you." If it was easy, you'll correct them. "No, actually, it wasn't too bad." If it was hard, you'll expand on it. "Yeah, it was awful." Either way, they win. Say someone wants to know if your business is struggling. They won't ask, "Are sales down?" Instead, they'll say, "I bet the economy has made things tough for you." If you're struggling, you'll confirm. If not, you'll still reveal details. "Not really. We actually had a great quarter." They now have valuable insight without ever asking a question. Your body betrays your emotions more than your words do. One of the easiest ways to spot deception? Blink rate. Normal conversation, 15 to 18 blinks per minute. High stress, lying, fear, or guilt, 60 to 80 blinks per minute. Deep focus, watching an intense movie, as low as 3 to 5 blinks per minute. Pay attention to how often someone blinks when talking about a neutral topic. If their blink rate suddenly increases when discussing a specific subject, something is stressing them out. This doesn't prove they're lying, but it does show they're emotionally charged about the topic. Everyone wears a mask, a version of themselves they present to the world. Skilled manipulators know how to read these masks and use them against you. Formula of the mask: shame, discomfort, mask. We hide what we're ashamed of. The stronger the shame, the thicker the mask. They identify what you try to hide: insecurities, failures, fears. They act as if they understand and accept that side of you. This makes you feel safe with them, so you trust them more. Then, once they have your trust, they subtly steer your emotions. A cult leader will often say something like, "I know how the world judges you, but I don't. You belong here." The moment you hear those words, your brain relaxes. You feel understood. And that's when the control begins. Every conversation is a silent war for influence. You are either in control or being controlled. Now that you understand elicitation, friend mode, provocative statements, blink rate detection, and the psychology of the mask, you've taken your first steps into seeing the unseen. But we've only scratched the surface. Next, we'll uncover the advanced techniques manipulators use to steer decisions, create illusions of choice, and make people act against their own interests. Now that you understand how manipulators extract information and build trust, let's go deeper. Most skilled influencers don't just read emotions or pull secrets. They shape reality itself. How? By controlling perception. Once you control how someone sees a situation, you control how they react to it. Most people believe they make their own choices. They don't. Skilled manipulators frame decisions so that whatever you pick benefits them. Instead of forcing someone to do something, you give them options that lead to the same outcome. The person feels in control but is actually playing into your plan. This removes resistance because they believe they made the choice freely. A car salesman won't ask, "Do you want to buy this car?" That gives you an easy no escape. Instead, they ask, "Would you rather have the base model or the premium package?" The buyer isn't deciding whether to buy. Their brain is locked into which one to buy. This is the illusion of choice, a tactic used in sales, politics, and even relationships. Once a person agrees to something small, they are more likely to agree to bigger requests. This is called commitment and consistency bias, one of the strongest forces in human psychology. Start with a tiny, harmless request. Once they say yes, their brain wants to stay consistent. Keep escalating the requests until they agree to something major. A scammer first asks, "Can I have just a minute of your time?" Then, "Can I show you this real quick?" Then, "Would you like to sign up for a free trial?" Then, "Let's just finalize your registration." Each yes makes the next step feel more natural, even if the final action is something they normally wouldn't do. This is how cults recruit members, how scammers steal money, and how businesses get customers locked into subscriptions they don't need. Gaslighting is one of the most sinister forms of manipulation. It makes the target question their own memory, judgment, and even sanity. The manipulator denies facts, even when evidence exists. They make the victim feel unstable, forcing them to rely on the manipulator's version of reality. Over time, the victim loses confidence in their own thoughts. You clearly remember a friend making a promise. When you bring it up, they say, "I never said that. Are you sure you're not confused?" You recall someone insulting you, but later they insist, "You're overreacting. That never happened." Gaslighting is used in toxic relationships, corporate environments, and even political propaganda to rewrite history. Humans are wired to follow the majority. If everyone else believes something, we instinctively assume it must be true. This is called social proof, and it's one of the strongest tools of mass influence. Show that everyone else is doing something, and people will follow. Brain's fear of standing out makes them conform, even against their own beliefs. It works best when the person is uncertain or uninformed. Advertisers say 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this brand. Politicians say everyone is supporting this policy. Social media influencers fake high engagement to make their content seem more popular. Even if something is false, if enough people believe it, it becomes reality. Fear is the most powerful motivator. When people are scared, they stop thinking logically and act impulsively. Scarcity, making something seem rare or limited, triggers panic-based decision-making. Fear creates urgency, shutting down logical thinking. Scarcity makes people act before thinking, afraid of missing out. This is why fear-based news, marketing, and propaganda are so effective. Only 3 spots left. Book now before it's too late. If you don't invest now, you'll regret it forever. They are coming for your rights. You must act now. This taps into survival instincts, making people react without questioning the information. When people feel trapped, they resist. But if you give them a way out, they will often confess voluntarily. Instead of accusing, you make the confession feel understandable. You make them feel like a good person who just made a mistake. This lowers their defenses and makes them admit the truth. A detective doesn't say, "We know you stole the money." Instead, they say, "Look, I know times have been tough. Anyone in your position would have done the same thing. You're not a bad person. You were just under a lot of pressure." The suspect, feeling less threatened, confesses more easily. This method is even used in negotiations, sales, and relationship conflicts to make people agree without resisting. At this point, you understand the core mechanics of dark psychology. Solicitation pulls secrets from people without them realizing. The illusion of choice makes them follow your plan while believing they are in control. The yes ladder conditions people to comply, step by step. Gaslighting reshapes reality. Social proof makes people follow the crowd without questioning. Fear and scarcity drive impulsive decisions. The golden bridge makes confessions feel safe. This knowledge can be used for good or evil. You can use it to protect yourself or to subtly influence those around you. But now, let's get real. How can you apply this in everyday life? In the next section, we'll uncover practical exercises to sharpen your perception, detect deception, and build an unshakable mental defense against manipulation. Now that you understand the mechanics of dark psychology, it's time to apply this knowledge. Whether you want to protect yourself from manipulation or sharpen your ability to influence others, these techniques will change the way you interact with people. Let's break it down into two key areas: how to defend yourself from manipulation, how to use these tactics ethically to influence others. Most people are unaware when they're being manipulated. Now that you know the methods, here's how to defend against them. Your brain picks up on deception before your conscious mind does. That's why gut feelings exist. Next time you feel something is off in a conversation, pause. Ask yourself, what does this person want me to believe? Observe their body language, tone, and whether their words match reality. If something doesn't add up, don't ignore it. Your subconscious is picking up hidden signals. People can lie with words, but their body betrays them. Establish their normal blink rate in casual conversation. When discussing important topics, watch for sudden increases in blinking. If their blink rate jumps when discussing money, relationships, or past actions, they're likely hiding something. Bonus tip: watch for sudden lack of pronouns. If someone usually says, "I went to the store," but suddenly says, "went to the store, got some things," they may be distancing themselves from the truth. When someone presents two options, ask yourself, is there a third option they don't want me to see? A boss says, "Do you want to work overtime this Saturday or Sunday?" The hidden assumption is that you must work overtime. Instead of choosing, ask, is overtime actually required or is there flexibility? By challenging the assumption, you break the manipulation. When someone uses elicitation to extract information, they frame statements in a way that makes you correct them. Instead of correcting wrong statements, respond with vague agreement. If someone says, "Wow, I heard you guys got a big pay raise," don't correct them. Just say, "Interesting, isn't it?" If they say, "I bet your job is stressful," reply with, "It has its moments." This keeps your secrets protected while giving them nothing to work with. Now, let's talk about the right way to use these techniques to persuade and influence without deception. People believe what is said with certainty. If you frame a statement as undeniable, others will assume it's true. Instead of saying, "I think this idea might work," say, "This is the best strategy available." People mirror confidence. If you project certainty, they will follow. People hate feeling wrong. The best way to change their mind? Make them feel like they're right. Acknowledge their current belief. "I totally understand why you'd think that." Offer a perspective shift without making them feel stupid. "But have you ever considered this angle?" Lead them toward your point as if it were their own idea. "Now that I think about it, you're actually onto something." This lowers their ego defense and makes them more open to change. If you need a big favor, start with small commitments. Get them to say yes to something minor. "Can you give me your opinion on something?" Follow with a slightly bigger request. "Would you mind helping me with this one thing?" Once they're engaged, ask for the real request. "I'd really appreciate your help with this project." Because they already agreed to smaller things, their brain wants to stay consistent, making them more likely to agree. People desire things that seem rare or exclusive. Instead of saying, "Anyone can join my program," say, "I only accept a few people each month." Instead of, "This product is available anytime," say, "We only have a few spots left." By making something seem limited, people rush to get it. Most people fear silence. You can use this to gain control in conversations. When negotiating, ask your request and stay silent. The other person will feel pressure to fill the silence. They may reveal information or agree to your request just to break the tension. Instead of saying, "Can I get a discount?" say, "Is there any flexibility on price?" Then wait. The seller will likely justify their price or offer something better. You now understand how to spot, resist, and ethically use dark psychology. But with this power comes a choice. Will you use these tools to manipulate and deceive? Or will you use them to protect yourself and ethically persuade? The most powerful people aren't those who manipulate others. They're the ones who see through the manipulation and shape reality with intent. Now let's wrap this up. You now possess knowledge that most people will never have. The ability to see manipulation, to understand influence, and most importantly, to protect yourself from deception. But here's the truth. Most people don't want to know this. They prefer to believe they are in control. They want to think they make their own choices, free from external influence. But now you know better. Every conversation, every negotiation, every ad you see, there's a game being played. Some people control the board. Others don't even realize they're the pieces. So ask yourself, will you be the one who sees the moves before they happen? Will you be the one who reads the masks people wear? Will you be the one who decides your own reality? instead of having it decided for you. Because once you recognize the game, you can never go back. The strongest manipulators don't force. They don't argue. They shape perception so smoothly that people believe they're acting on their own. If you can read people, you can predict them. If you can control perception, you can control outcomes. And if you can see through deception, you become untouchable. Most will remain blind to these tactics. You won't. Because now you have a choice. To stay unaware and keep being played, or to wake up and take control. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? If this opened your eyes, share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to learn even more advanced techniques, let me know in the comments. Because this was just the beginning.